Motorcycles give us freedom, speed, and a way to escape the grind, but they also come with a mountain of advice, warnings, and so-called rules that get passed around like gospel. The problem? A lot of that advice is dead wrong. Some of these myths waste your money, others make maintenance harder than it needs to be, and a few might even shorten your bike's lifespan. In this video, we're counting down 21 of the biggest motorcycle lies that even experienced riders and some mechanics still repeat. We'll start with the common money traps and work all the way down to the myths you've probably heard 100 times in the garage or at the gas station. By the end, you'll know which rules to follow, which ones to ignore, and how to keep both your bike and your wallet in better shape. Myth number 21. Only OEM branded oil and parts keep the warranty. One of the most expensive lies riders fall for is the idea that you must use the dealer's branded oil and factory-stamped parts to keep your warranty valid. Dealerships love this one because it locks you into their higher prices. But here's the truth. In the US and many other regions, it's actually illegal for manufacturers to void your warranty just because you used an equivalent aftermarket part or oil. The law requires only that replacements meet the same specifications. So if your manual calls for a Jasso MA210W40, you can buy it from any reputable brand, not just the one with your bike's logo on the bottle. Keep your receipts, follow the service schedule, and you'll be protected. Don't let fear of voiding your warranty drain your wallet. Myth number 20. Drop your helmet once and it's ruined. Almost every rider has heard this one. You accidentally drop your helmet off the seat, and suddenly you're told it's useless and must be replaced. That's not how helmets work. Modern helmets are designed to protect you with your head inside them during an impact. A simple drop from waist height onto the garage floor won't crush the foam liner or compromise safety, unless you see cracks, damage, or the EPS liner has clearly taken a hit. Helmets do need replacing after a crash where they absorbed force, and they should be cycled out after 5 to 7 years due to material aging. But tossing a perfectly good lid just because it slipped off a shelf, that's money wasted. Inspect it carefully, follow the manufacturer's lifespan guidelines, and replace only when it's truly necessary. Myth number 19. Every slip-on exhaust needs a remap or you'll blow the engine. This one scares a lot of riders into spending hundreds more than they need. The claim is that swapping your stock muffler for a slip-on instantly throws your fuel system out of whack, demanding an ECU tune, or else your engine will run dangerously lean. The truth? On most modern bikes, a slip-on alone doesn't change fueling enough to cause damage, especially if the catalytic converter and stock headers remain in place. Your bike's sensors can adjust within normal limits. Where a tune really becomes necessary is when you change the full exhaust system, remove the catalytic converter, or combine it with an aftermarket intake. That's when fueling changes matter. A simple slip-on is usually fine as is, giving you sound and style without draining your wallet on unnecessary mapping. Myth number 18. Brake fluid only needs changing when it turns dark. It sounds logical. If the fluid looks clean, it must still be good, right? Unfortunately, brake fluid doesn't work that way. It's hygroscopic, meaning it absorbs moisture from the air over time. Even if it still looks clear, that moisture lowers the boiling point and can corrode the braking system from the inside. Wait until it turns brown or cloudy, and you're already past the safe limit. That's why most manufacturers recommend replacing brake fluid every 1 to 2 years, regardless of mileage or appearance. It's cheap, quick, and protects some of the most important parts of your bike. Skipping it until the fluid looks bad is a gamble that can cost you far more in caliper rebuilds or even brake failure. Stay ahead of it with scheduled service, not just by eyeballing color. Myth number 17. Starting your bike every week in winter keeps it healthy. Plenty of riders swear by this ritual. Roll into the garage, fire up the engine for a few minutes, and think they're keeping things fresh. In reality, this habit often does more harm than good. Short idle sessions don't let the engine fully warm up, which means condensation builds inside, and fuel can dilute the oil. Over time, that creates corrosion and premature wear. A better winter storage strategy is simple. Fill the tank with fresh fuel and a stabilizer. Hook up a battery tender and park the bike somewhere dry. When spring comes, you'll be ready to ride without any hidden damage. Remember, bikes are built to be ridden, not left idling like lawnmowers. Sometimes the best maintenance is leaving it alone until you can actually get out on the road again. Myth number 16. O or X-ring chains need heavy grease, and WD-40 will ruin them. This myth spreads fast in garages and forums, usually from well-meaning riders. O and X-ring chains are sealed chains. The critical lubrication is already locked inside by those rubber rings. Slathering them in heavy grease won't help. It only attracts dirt and grit, which can grind away at the seals. On the flip side, plenty of riders panic if WD-40 ever touches their chain. In reality, WD-40 isn't some instant chain killer. Used sparingly, it won't dissolve modern chain seals. That said, the gold standard is still simple. Clean with kerosene or a manufacturer-approved cleaner, then apply a light coat of motorcycle chain lube to keep rust at bay. Think of it as protecting the outside from corrosion, not drowning the chain in grease. Smart maintenance saves money and extends chain life. Myth number 15. Chains are finished after X miles. Just replace them. Some riders toss out perfectly good chains just because they've hit a number someone threw around on a forum. 10,000 miles? 15,000 miles? Whatever. But mileage alone isn't what decides when a chain is done. Chains wear at different rates depending on riding style, maintenance, and environment. A commuter who cleans and lubes regularly might see 20,000 plus miles, while a hard-riding off-roader might wear one out much sooner. The real measurement is elongation. Once a chain stretches past about 2%, or the sprockets show hooked shark fin teeth, it's time to replace. Until then, good care keeps it running safely and smoothly. Don't treat mileage as a death sentence. Treat your chain as a component to inspect, measure, and maintain. That's how you save cash and avoid wasting a chain that still has life in it. Myth number 14. Valve clearances need constant checking. This myth usually comes from older bikes, where valve trains needed frequent attention. Some riders still believe you should be checking clearances every few thousand miles, or risk catastrophic engine failure. On modern machines, that's just not the case. Manufacturers set specific inspection intervals, and they're often much longer than people expect. Take Yamaha's MT-07, for example. The first valve check isn't due until around 26,600 miles, 42,000 kilometers. Honda, Kawasaki, and others have similar extended intervals on many models. That doesn't mean you should ignore your valves forever, but obsessively tearing into the engine far ahead of schedule wastes both time and money. Stick to the service manual. Listen for signs like hard starting or odd ticking, and you'll be fine. Modern engineering has taken constant valve checks off the maintenance list. Myth number 13. Synthetic oil makes wet clutches slip. This myth has been around for decades, and it scares riders into avoiding synthetic oil, even when it could benefit their bikes. The idea is that synthetic oil is too slippery, so your wet clutch won't grab properly. But the real factor isn't whether the oil is synthetic or conventional. It's whether it meets the correct specification. Oils rated JASO MA or MA2 are designed specifically for motorcycles with wet clutches. They provide the right friction characteristics to keep the clutch working, while still giving excellent protection to the engine and gearbox. Use the proper viscosity and spec recommended in your owner's manual, and synthetic oil won't cause slipping at all. In fact, it often lasts longer and handles heat better. The myth lingers because of riders using car oil in bikes, not because of synthetic itself. Myth number 12. You must service your bike at the dealership or the warranty is void. This one's a favorite scare tactic. Some dealers want you to believe that unless every oil change, brake flush, or tire swap happens under their roof, your warranty magically disappears. The truth: in the US and many other regions, that's not legal. The Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act specifically protects consumers from being locked into one shop or one brand of parts. As long as you use fluids and components that meet the manufacturer's specifications and keep good records of your maintenance, your warranty remains intact. You can change your oil at home, go to an independent mechanic, or even do half the work yourself. The only catch is proving you followed the recommended schedule. So save receipts, jot down mileage, and don't let a pushy service advisor convince you that freedom costs your warranty. Myth number 11. Loud pipes save lives. It's probably the most famous saying in the motorcycle world, repeated at rallies and bike nights everywhere. The idea is simple: make enough noise and drivers will notice you. The reality? Most of that noise projects behind the bike, not forward into the cars that are about to pull out in front of you. Studies and safety organizations have found little evidence that louder exhausts significantly improve visibility on the road. What does make a difference is proper lane positioning, high visibility gear, reflective accents, and defensive riding habits. Loud pipes may make you feel safer, but they can also land you with noise citations, angry neighbors, or long-term hearing loss. If safety is the goal, invest in training and visibility, not decibels. Noise alone isn't a substitute for awareness or skill. Myth number 10. Fuel injector cleaning services are routine maintenance. Walk into some shops, and you'll be pitched on a pricey fuel injector flush every time you get an oil change. It sounds high-tech and preventative, but for most modern motorcycles, it's completely unnecessary. Today's fuel systems are designed to stay clean as long as you're using decent quality gasoline. In fact, manufacturers like Honda have stated outright that routine injector flushing isn't recommended. Unless you're dealing with a neglected bike, bad fuel, or a specific running issue, your injectors don't need to be blasted out on a schedule. What does make sense is occasionally running a quality fuel system cleaner if your manual allows, and sticking to trusted fuel sources. Otherwise, these services are just an easy way for shops to pad the bill. Don't fall for it. Your wallet and your injectors will thank you. Myth number 9. Engine flushes and oil additives are essential. This myth is a mechanic's dream for upselling. You'll hear that your engine needs to be flushed every so often to clean out sludge, or that a bottle of Miracle additive will boost performance and protect parts. The truth is, motorcycle engines aren't designed to be flushed with solvents, and doing so can actually loosen debris and push it into tiny oil passages. As for additives, if you're already using the correct oil grade and specification, they're redundant at best and harmful at worst. Manufacturers like Honda specifically warn against flushing agents and aftermarket additives. Your best protection is simple. Use the oil grade recommended in the owner's manual, change it at the proper interval, and replace the filter. Anything more is money wasted, and in some cases, money spent making things worse. Myth number 8. Brake rotors must be replaced every time you change pads. This one drains wallets fast. Some riders are told that every time the pads wear out, the rotors need to come off too, like they're a matched set. That's simply not true. Brake rotors are designed to last through multiple sets of pads. The key factor is thickness and condition. Every rotor has a stamped minimum thickness measurement. If yours is still above that limit, isn't warped, and doesn't have deep grooves, it's perfectly safe to keep using. Replacing rotors unnecessarily can cost hundreds of dollars per wheel. The smarter approach is to inspect, measure, and only replace when the rotor actually shows wear beyond spec. Pads wear fast, rotors don't. And if someone insists you need both every time, they might just be trying to sell you parts you don't need. Myth number 7. If the tread looks good, the tire is fine. It's a classic mistake. A rider glances at their tires, sees plenty of tread left, and assumes they're road ready. But motorcycle tires don't age like car tires. Rubber hardens over time, even if the tire has barely been used. UV exposure, temperature changes, and simply sitting in a garage can all degrade the compound. That's why manufacturers and safety groups recommend inspecting tires regularly after 5 years and replacing them at 10 years max. Regardless of tread depth, old tires may look fine, but can lose grip dramatically, especially in the wet. And don't forget to check the DOT date code on the sidewall. It tells you when the tire was manufactured. Relying only on tread depth is a myth that can cost you more than money. It can cost traction when you need it most. Myth number 6. You must replace both tires at the same time. It feels logical. If one tire is worn out, shouldn't you swap the other two so they match? Dealers sometimes push this idea, but it isn't always necessary. On most bikes, the rear tire wears about twice as fast as the front. It's perfectly normal to go through 2 or even 3 rears for every front. As long as the remaining tire is still within its wear indicators, has no age cracks, and matches the proper size and type, there's no harm in changing just one. Of course, if your front tire is already near the end of its life, replacing both together can save a second trip to the shop. But don't let anyone convince you that mismatched tread depth alone is unsafe. Inspect carefully, replace when needed, and you'll ride confidently without overspending. Myth number 5. Paying extra for nitrogen in your tires is worth it. Some shops will happily upsell you on nitrogen inflation, claiming it keeps pressures more stable, improves mileage, and even extends tire life. While nitrogen does expand and contract slightly less with temperature changes, the difference on a street motorcycle is so tiny, it's almost meaningless. Regular air is already about 78% nitrogen, and the real key to tire life and safety isn't what's inside, it's whether you're checking pressure regularly. A weekly gauge check and a decent pump will do far more for performance and safety than paying for pure nitrogen. On the racetrack or in aviation, where precision matters, it has some value. But for everyday riding, it's mostly a gimmick. Don't let marketing hype convince you to open your wallet. Stick with regular air and a good maintenance routine. Myth number 4. E15 fuel is safe for motorcycles. At some pumps in the US, you'll see gasoline labeled E15, meaning it contains 15% ethanol. Because cars can run it, many riders assume motorcycles can too. That assumption can get expensive. Most motorcycle manufacturers only approve up to E10, and using E15 can cause problems like lean running, hotter temps, and long-term damage to seals, hoses, and fuel system components, not designed for the extra ethanol. It can also void your warranty if the damage is traced back to the wrong fuel. The tricky part is that E15 pumps often look similar to regular gas, and some even share hoses, so it's easy to grab the wrong one. The safe move is simple. Stick with E10 or lower unless your owner's manual explicitly says otherwise. Saving a few cents isn't worth a wrecked fuel system. Myth number 3. Premium octane fuel always gives you more power. Gas stations love when riders fall for this one. The thinking goes, higher octane must equal higher performance. But octane isn't about power. It's about resistance to knocking or pre-detonation. If your engine is designed for 87 or 89 octane, filling it with 91 or 93 won't make it faster, smoother, or cleaner. In fact, you're just burning more money at the pump. The only time premium fuel is required is if your manual specifies it, usually because the engine has high compression and needs that knock resistance. Using too low an octane can cause problems, but going higher than necessary doesn't add horsepower. It's like buying running shoes 2 sizes too big. You don't run faster, you just spend extra. Follow the octane rating in your manual, not the sales pitch. Myth number 2. You must change your oil every 3,000 miles. The 3,000-mile oil change rule has been drilled into riders for years, often pushed by quick lube shops and old-school mechanics. But modern motorcycles, especially those with fuel injection and high-quality synthetic oils, don't follow that blanket rule. Many bikes today have intervals of 5,000, 7,500, or even 12,000 miles depending on the model and oil type. Sticking to an arbitrary 3,000-mile change wastes both money and perfectly good oil. The only schedule that matters is the one in your owner's manual. Manufacturers test and set those intervals for a reason. Of course, if you ride in extreme conditions, dusty roads, heavy commuting, or constant high RPMs, you might need shorter intervals. But for most riders, changing oil too soon just drains your wallet. Trust the manual, not outdated myths. Myth number 1. You need to idle your bike for 10 minutes to warm it up. Plenty of riders start their bikes, let them sit and idle forever, and think they're doing the engine a favor. In reality, that habit just wastes fuel, creates extra carbon buildup, and can even foul spark plugs. Modern fuel-injected motorcycles are engineered to run properly almost immediately. After starting, all they need is 20 to 30 seconds for oil to circulate. The best way to bring the engine up to temperature is simply to ride gently until it reaches operating heat. Long idling doesn't help. It actually heats the engine unevenly and can shorten component life. Unless you're dealing with an old carbureted bike on a cold morning, there's no need to sit around waiting. Start it, let it settle, then ride easy. Your bike will thank you, and so will your wallet. And there you have it. 21 of the most common motorcycle lies that end up draining wallets and spreading bad advice. The truth is, riding doesn't have to be expensive if you stick to what actually matters and ignore the myths that get passed around at the gas station or in the shop. If this video helped you spot a few money-wasting tips you've heard before, let me know which one surprised you the most down in the comments. And if you've run into other so-called rules that didn't make the cut, share them. Your story might save another rider some serious cash. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more straight talk motorcycle content, and stay safe out there. Ride smart, ride often, and keep both your bike and your wallet in top shape.